Hey everyone, welcome back. It is book club video vlog or reading vlog time. Wow. And we are doing May's picks for the book clubs that I'm in. If you do not know, I am in the Ravished by Romance book club, the book troop, and also the Literary Dead book club, and we are about to talk about the May picks. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is the Book Troop book club, which I am so excited about because this is one of my most anticipated reads of the year, The Last Word by Taylor Adams. This is about an author who might be stalking a reviewer who left a 1-star review on their book. And the reviewer lives in a remote spot where weird things start happening to her house. And we're just gonna follow that. That's all I want to know about it. I don't want to know anything else about this book. But I haven't started it yet. But I am going to be starting it obviously pretty soon because I need to read it for this vlog. Then for the Literary Dead book club, this is Whispers Down the Lane. This is inspired by the 1980, what is it? The Satanic Panic. I have this one on audiobook and I'm going to be reading it with my eyes while I listen as well, and I'm super excited about this as well. I've heard different things about it, but I've heard that it is a crazy ride and I'm so excited about it. And then last night I started reading the Ravished by Romance book club pick, which is The King of Pride, and this is supposed to be like, this is the second book in a series, but you can read all of the books by themselves, like separately. And this is about a friend group of billionaire guys who all are like, who all find their love, obviously, but they're all rich and they're all very well, they're all like, obviously they're wealthy, they're billionaires, but it's just a friend group. And in this one, this is about Kai and Isabella, or Izza, and they know each other, but they've never like really interacted. They're more of acquaintances than anything. And Kai finds out that he's a little bit more attracted to Izza than he realized. And I'm only about 20% in, but I like their dynamics so far. It's supposed to be like an erotic romance, and I haven't read an erotic romance in a while, and I'm excited about it. So those are the picks for this reading vlog. It is Thursday. I will let you know that the NCAA softball tournament starts tomorrow. So I'm going to be watching softball like I have been in the past couple of videos. Plus I'm going to be reading books, and I'll fill you in when I get 50% into one of these books. I'm really excited about these books, this month's pick. They all sound really interesting in their own way. So I will fill you in when I get to 50% in one of the books. I got cold from earlier, but it's the same day, and I just wanted to fill you in on this. I am over halfway. I've been listening to this while I work today, and I didn't realize that this book was inspired by the McCain preschool trial. If you don't know what that was, it was a trial in the 1980s where a group of students accused their teachers of essaying them and committing rituals on them and making them do rituals and stuff like that. And this was during the Satanic Panic, which is also what this book is inspired by. But I didn't realize that, I knew it was inspired by the Satanic Panic, but I didn't realize that it was inspired by the McCain preschool trial. So I have heard about the McCain preschool trial, and it was a lot. It was where a group of teachers was accused of essaying children, their students, and then they were acquitted of those charges because they didn't actually do it. There were rumors going around where one kid said something to their parent and then it spiraled out of control, and it was the longest trial. It was a very long trial. I think it lasted for like 7 years or something like that. But this book is inspired by that. And you can tell that it's inspired by this because one kid says something to their parents about their teacher, and then a whole story just starts erupting from there. And we're following a 5-year-old named Sean, and he was in that teacher's class, kindergarten class, and he was a part of the trial. And we're also following a man named Richard, and he has just moved to this town. I think it's called Devers or something like that. But he is a art teacher for an elementary school, and he knows about the trial itself that Sean was in, and you get little things here and there about Richard and about how his past and his future, or his past and his present, are starting to intertwine. And he is he's a new stepdad and a new husband to Tamara, and his stepson is named Elijah, and he's in 3rd grade. So he also teaches Elijah in his class. I'm trying not to tell a bunch of stuff because I am almost done with this book. I just forgot to fill you in, but there's a lot of stuff in this book, and I thought that it was going to be like a paranormal thing. I can see some supernatural elements coming into it, but I don't think that they're gonna like I don't think that it's considered a paranormal book. It's considered a crime horror book, and it is interesting to the point where I'm like, are these things even happening? Did they really happen? Like in the book itself, but like, are they happening, or is he just imagining things that are going on? Like, what is going on? But you do find something out about Richard that kind of helps you out along the way. And Richard is just having a hard time, man. And karma. Like, karma is coming back to bite some people in the butts in this book. And it's not good. It's not good at all. But I'm intrigued to keep reading. It does make me feel kind of weird that this is so inspired by that trial, because you can really tell. But it's like, wow, like people really did this to other people and ruined people's lives, all because of rumors, and they didn't do their research, and they didn't go figure stuff out for themselves. They just told a bunch of stuff, and it all came out, and it ruined a crap ton of people's lives, which happens every day, you know. But yeah, it's wild. It's wild. It's talking about parenting and wanting to trust your kid, but also not knowing to, like, it's a lot. It's a lot. So as a former teacher, this would terrify me if that actually happened. And then there's so many stories out there nowadays of this kind of stuff happening, and you're just like, oh my god, it's a lot. But yeah, so this book, it has me interested, has me very interested, and I want to know what's going on. Like, I want to know if things are really happening that are being said if the things that are saying that are happening are really happening. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, long-winded. It's going good so far. Don't know what my rating is going to be, obviously, but it is intriguing. So it's about to start raining outside. Like, it just got really windy and really gloomy, and I think we're supposed to have some pretty bad thunderstorms. But just wanted to fill you in on that. And obviously, I'm probably going to finish this book today, because I only have about 75 pages left of that book. So cool. So I finished this yesterday. I'm giving it 3.5 stars. This book was pretty decent for the most part. It was a really quick read. I got through it very quickly. I listened to it on audio, and it kept me intrigued, but there was just a lot of unanswered questions at the end. I think this book could have been a little bit longer. It's only like 294 pages, and I think it could have been about 50 more pages longer just to answer the questions that were at the end, like Richard's mindset at the very end, answering those questions as like his childhood. Was it actually what it was like? Was it actually what it was portrayed in the book? How do Sean and Richard come together? I mean, we kind of figured that out at the end, but there was just a lot of holes in the story for me. But I do plan on reading this author again very, very soon. He has a book called Ghost Eaters that I'm really interested in, and that one has a higher rating than this one. This one, you could tell, was very, very much inspired by the trial that I told you about at the previous clip. And it stuck to that trial pretty good. There's just a little bit of a paranormal twist in here, and the paranormal twist I still have a question about that didn't get answered in the book, but I think it was more or less you have to figure it out. Like, you can just interpret it how you want to. I don't like those kind of stories. I like to know exactly what is going on in the story. Like, if there's some psychological guesses, that's fine, but this whole book was a psychological guess for me, because there were just some things that talked about mental health that didn't get answered. There were some, like, paranormal twist in here was not answered. I did like the overall plot twist in here, though. I thought that was done very well, even though I kind of guessed it before, obviously before it happened, but it wasn't a bad book by any means. It's a 3.5, so it's passing. I just wanted to let you know that I did end up finishing this, and whenever the live show happens, I'll stick a clip in here for you so you can watch it and see how that was. But
yeah, so this is things right now before we get into a bunch of new. So next month, or technically we're reading the book from stuff like that.
Not a bad book. Glad that I read it. Glad that I listened to the audiobook. If you can listen to the audiobook, the narrator does a really good job. Now, let's talk about The King of Pride. I got to 50% of The King of Pride last night, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a contemporary book about Isabella and about Kai, and they are acquaintances and all that kind of stuff. They're attracted to each other, but they know that they shouldn't be attracted to each other because of Isabella's job. She can get fired for having relations with some of the guests that are there, and Kai is kind of like a investor of the place. It's a club, and he's kind of like an investor of that place, so he has a lot of say, and he knows the rules. And there was a really, really steamy scene at another bar, and I'm like, yes, finally. So it has some angst at the very beginning, but it's got some steam, y'all. It's got some steam. And I have been needing a steamy book for a while, but the live show for that is tonight, and I'm only 50% in. But I'll be reading the rest of this. Hopefully I'll get to catch the live show before, you know, or after I read the book. So we shall see. But I'll stick that in here too for you. Good morning. So I didn't get to catch the live show for The King of Pride last night, and I am watching it right now actually on my phone. And it's really funny because they're talking about books that I've never read before, and I'm like, okay, TBR, 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 because I ended up giving The King of Pride, did I say King of Wrath? I meant King of Pride if I said King of Wrath. Anyways, King of Pride, ended up giving it 4 stars. I really liked Kai, and I really liked Annabelle. I liked their relationship. I liked how they handled the situations, but it kind of got a little bit slow around the 3rd act, and there were some things that were going on with Kai's job that took over, which I understood why it did, but it just got kind of slow and it got kind of repetitive at the end. So I knocked it down a star because I was getting kind of bored with it. But I really enjoyed Annabelle and Kai's relationship. It's really sweet. It happened fast, but it happened organically, and it was just a sweet, sweet romance. And Kai was like, wanted to take care of her, and Annabelle was like, no, or Isabella was like, I'm gonna take care of myself. And she wanted to do everything on her own, and you find out a twist at the end, and you're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Makes sense as to why she wants to, you know, be on her own so much and do things on her own, which I found really nice, because even though Kai is a billionaire, Isabella is struggling a little bit. She's a aspiring writer, and she's living in New York, and she's bartending, so she's having a little hard time, but she's also full of life, and she's just like, I'm ready to take on the world. And she's having a little bit of writer's block right now, and Kai was super supportive of her and tried to help her in a lot of ways by giving her like a writing space that she would feel safe at, by giving her some gifts that, in like later on, that would help her with the writing process and everything. So they were very supportive of each other, and Kai's in the running to get to be the CEO of the company that he works for, that's been in his family for forever. And they're just like super supportive of each other, and I really liked it. There wasn't really anything bad that happened besides the like Kai CEO part. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna tell you that because I don't want to ruin anything. But it was just, it was a really good book, but it just kind of got slow for me, kind of fell flat around the ending. So 4 stars. I am going to continue with this series. I really want to read the first book. They're talking a lot about the first book in the live show right now, and I'm like, no, don't spoil anything, but they haven't spoiled anything. So I'm going to continue on to the live show, but I wanted to jump in here and let you know that I am finished with King of Pride, and I really enjoyed it.
That one, dang it. And that, but like seriously, it's
They're talking about books that I have never read yet, but they're other billionaire books, and I'm excited to read these.
In My Dark Romeo, she literally spent like $1 billion in one day. She was like, fine, credit card, let's do it.
I mean, if you give the credit card, you gotta go spend the money.
And Laura's like that too. Like she got mad at the hero, and she decided to get his favorite car and like kind of dent it a little bit, you know, drive recklessly just to make him a little mad. His $2 million car.
Oh my god. That sounds so good though. That reminds me of My Dark Romeo then.
I'm gonna read those too.
Read it. It's
next week. So, did you get the audio for My Dark Romeo?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna continue on with this live show, and then I'll check in with you when I get to 50% of The Last Word by Taylor Adams. Alright, let's talk about this. I'm halfway through this book. I got it on audio, and I'm listening, you know. You know how that goes. Okay, anyways, this book is crazy, y'all. This book is wild, and I am really enjoying it. This is about a woman named Emma who has rated a book 1 star, and she gets this reply from the author telling her basically that she needs to delete her 1-star review, otherwise something really bad's gonna happen. And she's like, nah, blah, blah. But then weird things start happening at the house that she's sitting for. She is at a very remote location, and she only has like 1 neighbor. She has a pup, and his name is Leica, I don't really know, but Leica, and it's actually kind of sad too, because Emma has gone through something very traumatic. That's why she's wanting to be by herself in the middle of nowhere. There is talk about suicidal ideology in here too. So go into that. No, like there wasn't anything about it in the actual description. So just know that she does have suicidal thoughts, but she has gone through something that's very traumatic, and she's just wanting to be by herself. She's already an introvert anyways, but the thing that happened has made her more introverted, and she's just wanting to get away from the world. But she has decided to house sit for this old lady. Her name is Jules. And yeah, she leaves a 1-star review on a book, and the author is coming after her. Yep. And this is like every reader's worst nightmare. If you leave a 1 star and then you start to get like, you know, things start happening to you and you get stalked. But it's wild. It's wild. And I do think that there's a twist in here that I think that I know. I'm thinking about it. But Emma does have this one neighbor that she communicates through with a whiteboard. They're talking back and forth with the whiteboard. He's an older guy, and they like play hangman and stuff like that with each other through the window. They have telescopes or like binoculars or something, but they can see each other and they can read each other's whiteboards. So I don't know where he comes into play, but we shall see. And I do think I know who, like we already know who the stalker is, but I do think there's more to it, obviously. But I think I know where the story is going, so we shall see. But I'm enjoying it. It's really, really good. It's very fast-paced, and it's like, you know, it's crazy. I'm here to tell you that I finished this entire book today. I listened to it on audio, and I loved every single bit of it. I gave it 5 stars. I thought it was really, really good. All the twists and turns were there. There were a lot of things that I did see coming, but I still enjoyed it in the end. Emma is one of those people that has always been underestimated, and she showed these people, she showed them, and I was so excited to see it. Like, I love that. I love it when we have a character, even though they're going through a lot, they still have the survival skills, and they're still like, no, 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 you're not going to do that to me. I'm going to do this to you instead. And it's just, I thought it was really good. This book is about Emma. I know that I've already kind of explained it, but she has gone through a very traumatic event in her life, and she needed to get away from everything, so she chose to house sit for this person. And the house is out in the middle of nowhere. It's on the coast. It's got a very dark and ominous atmosphere, especially at night, because there's nobody around except this one like little weird neighbor. His name is Deke, and he lives next to her. They communicate through a whiteboard. I've already said this, but there's something about Deke that she doesn't really trust all that much, and you find out why, and then you find out who the author is and how the author is handling the situation. She's already being stalked. It was just a wild ride, and I loved it. I loved all of it. I loved it so much. I wanted to keep reading, and I was so happy to see the ending, how it actually happened. It was just very sweet. There is a lot of talk about loss in the story. There's talk about suicidal thoughts in the story, so know that going into it. But I can tell you this, the golden retriever that she didn't think had a brain came out and was like, no, 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 you're not gonna do that to my mama. I'm gonna get you. And it was great. I love that scene. That scene was awesome. But overall, this was a really good book. I'm giving it 5 stars, even though it did have some points in it where I was just like, come on now, just keep it moving. It was a fun time, and I highly recommend this, especially if you are one of those people that is just getting into thrillers. I think this would be a great one for you. And it was a good time. I enjoyed it a lot. I haven't read a thriller that I've enjoyed this much in a really long time, so you need to read it if you haven't already. It's really good. And here is some footage of the live show.
Like I said, I gave this 5 stars.
No way!
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you had me so nervous when you were saying that. I was like, oh my god, I hated it.
Well, I loved it. Oh my god. I was obsessed. I feel like it just had like all of the things that I love in thrillers.
I'm gonna end this video here, and I hope you enjoyed this one. I had a really good time with the picks for this month. I found a new thriller and a romance series that I'm going to continue to read. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be continuing to read Whisper Down the Lane author. I can't remember his name at the moment, but I will continue reading him. I really liked his writing style. Just that overall book, it was okay to me. I mean, I didn't dislike it, but it was just okay. But yeah, so anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye.